Greetings, adventurers! Welcome to another episode of Beyond Bilica. In this episode, we will be starting by staring off the bow of a Star Pluck Aster 5. And in this Star Aster Pluck 5, we are looking over the shoulder of our four, thus far, main companions. We have with us a two-headed Etin of large stature. We have with us the kind of somewhat taller and more wily elven type creature. And then we have a bigger in stature, kind of more muscly orc-ish creature. And then we have little old Theo, a gift. Oh my. Then we find ourselves kind of thinking back to what has happened before to get us to where we are, looking upon this Bilica, this torus of civilization, of density, of duality, and of kind of order and chaos, and of concentrated entropy within a world of resource management. And we are on a ship that has got 4 levels of exhaustion, and we see the kind of glow in Hutar's eyes of seeing what the Void Telescope had shown him come kind of into focus. And we see the exhaustion over Nel-chan's body, just kind of recognizing finally they can detense their muscles. And Theo feeling this inspirational sense of hope while also having this little water bubble trinket stowed away in their pack. And Arbor, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, met with yet another extraordinary event in this new world. And as we kind of set into focus, we hear a conversation between Hutar and Nel-chan. Yeah, man, I am ready to take a break from all this adventuring and stuff. Yeah. It's very exhausting. And yeah, I'm very happy to give back this rental, and hopefully we can clean it up a little bit. And yeah, but in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind getting us in that queue over there. Queue. Yes.
And Q, yeah. About that, are you sure we need to give it back so soon?
Yes. If we don't want DMC to come after us for treason or
don't you think that they might
extortion.
understand that if we could maybe scrap around with it for a little while? I mean, we did save the ship and all, maybe they won't even remember that it's gone.
Lots of company funds were put into paying for travel, and yeah, that overhead must be repaid. Yeah, but yeah. Well, let's just get home, please. He like they point like both of their each head kind of points an arm um towards this kind of conglomeration of ships that look similar to yours um over kind of near to a mountain side-ish area somewhat actually kind of in this part of the map right over here. um what do you guys do as you kind of take in the wonder of everything here, um and you seem to have a direction.
Well, I guess I'll move the ship over there. Doesn't really seem like there's too much of a way for me to
Steal the ship.
weasel at. I feel like these people are like law abiding in this city somewhat or something. I don't know. So
uh
I'll move over there.
okay,
I
so
think Theo and Arbor just got done with their conversation about finding Theo's mom.
Yes.
So Theo's probably just thinking about that, maybe chatting about that a little.
Arbor is just taking in like the vastness of what the fuck all of like there's just a lot right now. He's got enough just in his eyes, just looking at random stuff, being like, this is so much.
Mhm. uh okay, so over here, um kind of, if you were to
Is
just,
it super?
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
yeah,
Over here, all the way in the left in the middle. I had to zoom the map out all the way
Yeah.
so I could see the over
somewhat
here.
somewhat near the compass rose that shows the source side, the flow side, the counter and orbit direction of Bilica. um we find ourselves going towards Duergar Mining Company. Now Asa kind of reminds himself as he sees home a little bit about how the kind of cardinal directions of this map work. As you see in the center, we've got this kind of rendering of the cylindrical nature of Bilica. Uh, and Bilica is kind of this torus that's been cut such that uh, this ring-like band kind of each port edge, the source side and flow side, almost are look like across at each other, as if you were to look up from one port, you would see the other port above you. And then similarly, if you were in the middle of one side of the ring, you would be able to look up past the crystalline and kind of potentially see some things on the opposite side of Bilica. Um, and so, in that nature, as we kind of read this map from top left to top right, bottom left to bottom right, we are moving in the orbit direction, the direction that Bilica naturally kind of slowly gyrates, um, you know, creating the mystical forces that allow the gyrospheres to keep track of the time and order of the city. And counter is the opposite direction of orbit. So on the flow side of Bilica, we find ourselves at the DMC as we're kind of zooming in to a somewhat trafficked, like, kind of queue of various different models of Asterplux ships and other models as well, all carrying all manners of kind of astral sea detritus and uh, asteroids and meteors and things, um, towards a fairly lively dockyard um, that seems to kind of extend itself out from these kind of gravelly plains that almost seem to kind of have like are somewhat artistic, like Zen garden bed almost from this um scale of uh kind of meteors and rocks kind of lining it. Uh, that as you zoom in, you see that like just ashore of these kind of ports that are made out of stonework um, are um, these basically areas where meteors are kind of uh, placed by the Asterpluck kind of arms uh, down onto this kind of almost lava field of sorts that are then seem to be kind of almost mined upon, or uh, it's almost more artistic than that. Almost like uh, the kind of figures interacting with these meteors are uh, like carving into them, like you would carve into a stone to make a statue. Um, but with such finesse, they're kind of extracting various gems and things from uh, meteors and other stone um, contraptions, and then kind of extracting them onto um, various mine carts that seem to be feeding into the mountainside with more stronger looking creatures of kind of orcish and ogre and uh, troll and um, even a cyclops here and there um, that seem to be in employ are kind of like rolling away the stonework that is found to not have as many gems and kind of rolling them onto very like almost these catapult looking contraptions towards the orbit side of this kind of field. The field itself having almost a stark, like bright tan coloration to it, which allow these kind of more gray, like stone kind of marbles of different sizes to kind of polka dot the landscape. Um, and on these kind of catapulty looking things, once kind of the stone detritus is put there, these catapults seem to like fling up the stonework in a quite calculated way that kind of is thrust across the void but air filled kind of divide towards another part of the mountain that seems to be a little bit more organic um, and kind of feeds upon these uh, almost this kind of consistent torrent of meteors that kind of are thrown in. Um, and as you guys kind of start to get in the queue, you notice the various different astroplex in line are kind of orienting themselves so that the claws land like on the kind of lava field, and they're the vessel itself lands kind of near the stonework. Um, and there seems to be a whole kind of system in place of how all of this runs down. Do you guys have any questions as kind of Nelchan kind of comes up to Hutar one last time before needing to go down to give you latent to do this kind of parking maneuver? Um,
Does has Theo known this area before, and would he notice any differences?
um, yeah, give me a history check.
Uh, oops, didn't mean to do that with advantage.
Okay. Yeah, with an 11 on your history check, you have never been like this privy, given this kind of view of their port side happenings. I mean, you've kind of looked at it by just looking up from where you're from and being able to kind of spy on it a little bit. But there has always been this yeah, to you've you remember there's quite a few kind of there's a fair bit of mysticism and legend about kind of this mountain and the Duergar that live there and all of that. And interestingly, like uh with an 11, even with 11, you know that there's like multiple almost conflicting stories about it. And um yeah, but you do know that there's this one part of the mountain that's kind of um uh almost festering and a little bit
Fleshy.
organic. Um
What do I
and
know anything about the organic thing? Like what it is?
uh do you think you could try and like rack your brain and kind of learn more about this moment? You're kind of just taken back by the awe of it all. You do remember, though, I think from like one thing that you had to learn, and you just thought this word was kind of cool, that they call it the Ossif Legion, Ossif Legion, O S F
Ossification?
I F Lesion. Um, and you just like thought that was cool name. And uh, yeah, um, but you also know that the few times that you did look up at this area, it was definitely not as like um kind of factory line ordered as it is now. I mean, these Astropluck models that you're on are completely, you kind of can tell that it's of DMC make, but this is like a completely, different line of
Updated?
spelljammers and things. And the way that this kind of port comes down, and this even like this kind of exterior kind of de extraction area didn't exist before. A lot of this was is quite new to you, in like how kind of factory line this it seems. But yeah, um cool. So as Theo's taking that in, uh what are the rest of you guys doing uh while I'm gonna make uh Ethan do a couple checks here.
Arbor's not really gonna do anything. I think he's just still just trying to take it in as quickly as possible as he's seeing more things than he even saw previously. There's like different kinds of biomes and civilizations and stuff. So he's just looking around him. Like the Arbor is like nonstop, just like turning his head, looking at one thing, then looking at another thing, as there's like a what seemingly infinite amount of novel things to look at.
Yeah, the stark difference of the density of information here rather than kind of the sparseness of the void is quite startling. I don't think you've ever been to a city before.
No, not technically. I mean, I know about them.
Mhm.
No, not really.
Okay, well, uh, Ethan, I would like you to start making uh some checks to kind of reduce the speed here. Um, this is a relatively controlled environment, but there is as you kind of get towards the Bilica, you inherently kind of uh, experience this weird augmentation, like graviturgy, as um, the ship, the kind of Bilica itself has about almost 2 stories worth of kind of gravity uh, upon its like main kind of axis, that curves with the curvature of the kind of plate itself,
Mhm.
torus itself, and above that there is kind of this interesting like sub layer between the void and uh, the graviturgy, where there is kind of a gradient of airflow as you guys kind of are able to kind of almost feel just the push of the air kind of start to come upon you guys as you get down. But there is a moment where you get out of the drift of the void and have to kind of reduce your speed to kind of do this maneuver down to not make the ship take fall damage of you know and so as you it due to like the inherent graviturgy of Bilica, I'm just gonna make you do kind of like one check at this point. You've gotten like decent, and this is not like a you know life or death combat encounter or anything like that. But so how much I assume you're going to just do kind of 5 feet per round and like slow down.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. So by the time, but there's like an apex point where you have to kind of slow down as you're falling, and that's going to be DC 10.
Alright.
So why don't you roll that for me? And you're gonna have latent because
I'm gonna have
Nelchan kind of knows what's up and is giving you like all of the dice. So
okay.
yeah,
What's our maximum is a
D8, I think, right?
D8, right?
We have a
Yeah.
D8, a D6, and a D4.
Alright. So I can only use one.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
you don't need it. You're good.
Wow.
Use it. Roll it.
Wow.
great. With that 19, plus what is it, 21?
Yeah,
You definitely kind of like park this this broken like level 4 exhaustion asteroid pluck with like 2 of its claws like torn off asunder and like right next to like a obviously like mint condition one that you unfortunately like had to park next to and but the clunk of like your distinct payload having like this jut of of kind of gem sticking out in various directions definitely is novel amongst the many meteors placed here that don't have any sort of gem protrusions in them.
Yeah.
At this, Nelchan starts to kind of like get out from the forge area, and they dust themselves off and make preen themselves a little bit, and then get ready to disembark, seemingly kind of like just kind of doing their own thing in a way, kind of just like so ready to just be back into the routine of things. Do you guys, what do you guys do at this moment? You just kind of let things happen, or
I'm gonna adjust my hat and stand up tall, look impressive.
Theo's gonna walk up and stand next to Hutar and be like,
are you guys outside the Astropluck, like on the deck, or are you inside?
I've probably
Right
been
now
on the
I've-
deck this whole time, I think.
Okay.
I was on the deck, but once we're getting ready,
Once we're parked, I'm gonna come onto the deck.
As you guys are on the deck, give me insight checks. Those people who are, so not Ethan.
All right, this is while we're landing. Yeah.
Oh, I
Whoa.
see. I'm
Oh.
insightful.
Ooh.
So
I spent the last like 2 minutes looking at this place intently.
Arbor, from as you guys are like in line, you notice like all these other Astroplex and things seem to have like full fleets of Duergar like manning them, and there's an occasional like troll or ogre or maybe even like a Shatterkai or a
Do
Knoll
I
or a
see? Are there any
Troglodyte.
other Ettins?
But like well you see like one other Etten maybe
Okay.
with your 22. but it definitely seems like this is a like majority Duergar uh uh kind of situation here. And as that as you put kind of all of that together with your 22, you start becoming a little trepidatious, just kind of showing up on a Asterpluck ship, and there seems to be a definitely an order to things here that you guys have no knowledge of. Um, yeah, take that information as you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna like cower behind Hutar, I think, especially because Hutar seems to be like the bold and confident one, and also physically large enough for me to cower behind. And I'm gonna be like, we don't really look like anyone else here. You sure they're gonna be okay with us just showing up like this? I don't know if we're gonna be welcome.
Hmm.
Do you guys?
You
I want
think
to know. I want to
you
know how
think
you
they're
present
gonna
yourself.
you think they're
I wanna-
gonna
as you land. I want to know how you guys present yourselves. So do you kind of wait inside to see what happens? Are you out on the deck, or um, do you get
can
out with
I
Nelfan?
well Arbor is telling me this as I'm walking out. Can I pause and scan the average person here?
Yeah,
Do they have like a uniform type thing, or are they just sort of like they just
yeah.
like Duragar?
Give me give me
What
a
does the Ettins
perception
take?
check with advantage. Actually, what?
Oh, Theo says to Hutar, "What about? Doesn't the Etin know what we're supposed to do? Isn't this?"
Yeah, they seem driven. They're like getting ready to step off the
It
deck, and
seems like it.
yeah. Hutar, you see the the kind of creatures that are racially out of place, and like definitely the size large ones don't seem to have a like uniform, but they do have kind of insignia. Like you see that even Nelchan has like a little crest that they make sure to that is like present on their clothes and things like that. The Duergar all do seem to be wearing like similar clothes and kind of just um like almost like a cultural kind of like outfit of sorts. That you actually saw which kind of looks like a plumber's uniform, honestly. Like like jeans and like, you know, uh like little bits of like metal kind of armor straps everywhere, and kind of gray and blue colors and things like that. Um, and like little spike works in different areas, and some like chainmail kind of connections that are a little bit like dark blue. Um, and
Okay.
um, yeah, and you actually notice that you have some of like the corpses that are technically still on your boat or ship, um, uh, like have uniforms that are obviously like, you know, scrapped up and tattered, but are somewhat similar to those of these people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what, Arbor? You might be right. This might be. I'm gonna.
Why don't we just tell him the truth?
Yeah, the truth is a tricky thing. It doesn't
We've
tend to get you too far. I've got a
we're bringing
better
their
idea.
we're bringing their ship back to them, aren't we?
You know what's better than the truth?
What?
Some of the truth, with a little extra sprinkled in
Okay, you seem to know
for
what you're doing.
safety.
I'll just follow along.
I'm
Okay.
gonna take a drum sort of off my back, sort of tied to my. I'm gonna sort of hit it a few times, uh, in different places, sort of makes a different sound. Then I'm gonna tap one spot a few times and go, yeah, and then I hit it really hard, bam, and then I turn into a Duergar.
What?
Oh.
Oh,
Arbor's gonna be
My
like,
cat
what the
just
fuck
got-
just happened? I'm
My
gonna
cat
like
just
look
got
down and you be like,
so-
what did you do to Hutar?
Arbor, are
down.
you in a at this moment is are you guys like talking between the levels of the ship? Obviously,
I think at this
you
point Hutar is like at the stairway, right? Like
Yeah,
on
I'm
his
like
way
at
up
the
and peeking
stairway. I
out.
was looking over, then I went back down, tuned my drum, hit it, and now I'm gonna confidently walk back up.
I'm gonna be like,
Okay. um you see Nelchan like before like getting ready to leave and then like turns back almost like last minute remembering the rest of you guys are there. Just like obviously this kind of wash of exhaustion and just relief like on their faces. And then like looks to the three of you and then like really confused, like looking for uh someone, and then starts speaking in Dwarvish to you, Hutar. And you I don't think you speak Dwarvish.
I don't speak Dwarvish.
I'm
I'll just respond in Orcish and go, "Hey, don't worry, it's me. It's me." I was gonna pat him on the back, just for a little extra insurance, pay.
Theo's just smiling and nodding.
Arbor's like very
you
like
see you
physically
see
withdrawn now, like, oh no.
you see Chani
Nervously
Chani
Yeah.
has like a very confused face on his face, but Nella is like, oh, oh Arbathros? Oh, your Orcish has gotten better. Oh.
I'm gonna nod to them. Yeah, I've been working on it. Hi. Oh, I just wanna crack my shoulders. Let's do
What
this.
what brings you out from the the barkeep? What brings you out to the port here? I didn't know you switched.
Just I wanted to see how you guys are doing. I wanted to check up on you.
Oh, okay. You see they start speaking in undercommon to each other. Does anyone know the two heads do? As
No.
Chani's like very confused and Nella's like thinks she knows what's going on and they're like talking to each other. Uh
Can you
and then
repeat that name that they said? What was it?
Arbathros.
Arbathros. Got it.
Totally
Theo
not
has
his name
no idea what
on the spot.
Theo has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see Chani's like uh, starts speaking in Dwarvish to you, just like and you hear the Arbathros name several times and just kind of like shakes their head of just like and just sighs and then kind of keeps speaking in Dwarvish and like kind of like points to different parts of the ship and then kind of points over towards like the two other friends and is like kind of obviously explaining a lot in Dwarvish to you. Yeah. Do you do anything?
Um.
Well, you gotta do something now.
Uh, do I? Can I insight them to see what they seem to be trying to get across?
Yeah, you can.
Oh no.
12. That's a 12.
12. It's pretty obvious they're like, from being with Nelchan this long and them kind of like doing a lot of motions to like get stuff across because they're not very good at common. I mean, they don't know common and they're not very good at Orcish either.
Yeah.
You know, you actually do know their like hand signals relatively well, and you get the sense that they're kind of like explaining a little bit, in a somewhat like friendly manner, like amongst like someone they sort of know well. but there's definitely like one of the heads has like a little twinge of like reservation, and it's obvious like they're not saying like they're not going into like extensive detail, you know. Yeah.
I'm
But
just
then
gonna nod along.
and then at the end of all that, they kind of as they like seem to like stop and like look at you, and you just keep nodding. And I'm gonna take an insight check.
And can Theo tell at least that they're trying to speak Dwarvish to him and he's not speaking Dwarvish back?
Yeah, you can.
Do you speak Dwarvish?
Who are you talking to at this moment?
Oh, I'm gonna try and say it quietly to Hutar.
Okay.
Like like try and get him to come down so I can whisper.
No. Could
How
be
is
a
this?
problem.
Yeah, how's this gonna work?
As you
Hoping
as
we
you guys
talk more
are
in
as you guys are
common.
discussing that, you see I rolled low enough on my insight check. Nelchan just kind of gives you like one of these where they like point over their shoulder, like out down the kind of gangplank, like towards the kind of a little like two Duergar that are like coming up with like looks like some like official paperworky stuff, and just kind of like kind of looks towards Arbithros and gives them like a little like come over type
Oh,
of
just
No.
I'm gonna turn over to you, turn back, and then go lean over my shoulder and just follow my lead. And then I'm gonna walk
Okay.
down towards these official looking dwarves.
Okay, Arbor is extremely hesitantly walking with like there's no way this can end well. He's like, oh God, we got so far, but it's all gonna end here.
uh
Theo is
and then
extremely nervously doing his best to not look nervous, like he's holding in a shit while he's standing behind me.
yeah do you see like you see Nelchen kind of like rotates this like dial that you guys didn't notice before on like the side of one of the windows, and it like opens up like kind of like this to like create like almost a gangplank like down to like stone um uh uh like kind of where you guys have landed, and then like starts walking down, like waves to Arbithros to walk down. They I assume you walk down with them,
Yeah, I
and
walk
then
down.
kind of like sees the rest of you guys walking down and like looks back, uh and I'm gonna take on on a on an 18, kind of looks over to us like uh, and like speaks in Orcish like to the ship, is like Hutar, and in Orcish
You
they
know,
say like Hutar, uh, I'm gonna speak with rest of Duergar and figure things out about hopefully we could you know give the rental back, and just all I'll show you to a tavern or something, and but just stay here. And uh yeah, I I don't want to surprise them with my companionship in tow. Uh, and you see, like as he's kind of like they've lost their exhaustion, their Orcish has gotten a little bit better, and
I,
you know, yeah,
you know, I feel like had initially thought that they understood what I was doing, but they clearly misread the situation entirely. So I'm just gonna roll with it.
okay. What do the rest of you guys do?
Well, Theo, unknowing, I just follow. Yeah, I'm just following them. I don't. Yeah.
I'm at this point, I'm assuming that Hutar has a plan because Hutar just is confident like that.
Yeah.
Even though I have no clue what the plan is, I don't know. I don't have a better plan. I don't know how to handle myself in a situation like this. So I'm just hoping really hard right now. I'm
Okay.
just like,
Theo is
Um,
trying to figure out how to help, but he has no idea what's actually going on. So
yeah, no.
he's just gonna
can you just
follow.
remind me what Theo and what uh Arbor are wearing right now?
Oh,
I'm
Arbor's
wearing
decked
my.
out. Yeah, go ahead. You can go first.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm wearing my tattered school uniform essentially.
Yeah, Arbor's wearing his stunting ass beautiful severance scale mail.
Uh-huh. And what is that scale mail made out of, actually?
It's like a magical serpent scale type of material.
Okay. Um,
They like slither on like his body almost like as he moves. It like
mhm.
almost as like a weird optical effect, but
So as Arbor like walks out, the two kind of people with paperwork like start walking down the pier to kind of meet Nell Chan. They like cock an eye and then like register the kind of insignia of Nell Chan and like then kind of look down back at their books and like uh are visibly have like a face of annoyance and um uh and then
I'll
kind of walk
smile.
up to uh walk up and like then see Arbor come down the gangplank and like it eases the tension a little bit. And
Let's
then
go.
after that, uh
let's go.
after that, a kind of tattered, like kind of monk looking person like walks down and like of kind of gith uh visage, and they're like one of them like stops and like uh is like confused, and then starts talking in dwarvish, and then as this like you know el- elven in nature, kind of like fully armed, uh like armamented, uh kind of person who's got like some kind of visibly magical armor comes on. You see both, like the one with paperwork is still looking down at their paperwork, while the other one kind of like uh uh unsheathes like a mace from their back, uh and like puts up like a shield, and it's just like points at like the last of the people coming down the gangplank, and starts like chatting in dwarvish and things. um what do you guys do?
Do I notice this person pulling out their weapons and like kind of pointing at me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna like hold up my hands in like as much of a non-aggressive stance as I can. I'm like clearly not touching any weapons or anything. I'm like,
Okay,
oh
give me a
no.
persuasion check.
All right. It's all about the heart of the cards. Okay. The heart is in them. 15.
Okay.
Not, not as good as
And
it's
can
gonna
you
get.
describe to me your complexion? Like you are
I'm a
I
I'm a half wood elf. So I'm relatively tall. Like like elf-ish looking, not like the strongest elf features, like a look sort of watered down elf features, with like a slightly like greenish complexion, like a sort of tan greenish complexion. Um,
okay. In this
yeah.
moment, Theo, give me insight check or history check, your choice, at disadvantage.
All right. Also, do I recognize the monk-looking guy?
The what guy?
The monk looking guy was you.
Yeah, you are the
That's
most
you.
important guy.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. I because you're talking about.
So you would in fact recognize
Yeah.
him quite well.
You s- Sorry, you said history or insight?
Yeah.
Either with disadvantage.
Okay. With a 9, you only realize this now. You didn't realize it back in like the conversation that you were having. But while it isn't like while you don't remember it being like that big of a deal, there definitely is like some bad blood and like cultural discrimination between like more elven creatures and those that are considered like, you know, more classically
Would,
evil. Um
would
and
that include
that would
would Gith
include Duergar.
Dragons.
in
Yeah.
any of them? But
And
Gith are not on any side of that.
Well,
no, Gith are more neutral, yeah. But uh but you put two and two together and you realize that to you, Arbor looks pretty strange too, because you haven't seen that many wood elves, though you have heard about them before and seen a couple. But they're small enough population as opposed to the astral elves that someone like a Duergar who lives amongst a ton of Duergar could just think of them all the same. And so
Classic
there
Duergar
might be
racism.
some discrimination going on here.
Classic Duergar racism.
Theo's gonna whisper, they don't like elves.
Yeah, Arbor's gonna
Um,
continue like after that, like just holding his hands up, like trying to look as like non-intimidating as possible. Be like, I won't do anything.
you see like the one that is like holding up its shield is visibly like pointing at the elf and talking straight at you, Hutar. And you see they're like talking in Dwarvish. And you see Chani and Nella, like they've got that kind of expression on their face as like of like a microaggression happening, and they're just so used to it that like they just kind of like take the 1,000th cut and then just kind of they respond in like perfect Dwarvish back and start kind of like doing this motion with their hands and like trying to explain as the guy with like the papers finally like realizes what's happening, like head out of the book and like calls over to like kind of deeper into the field, and like a kind of group of a couple dwarves like kind of rush over, and
Did
yeah.
I get the elf thing here? That they don't like elves specifically? Did I hear that from
Probably it was in like common, I assume. Yeah, so
Yeah.
uh,
But
yeah.
it was quiet. I didn't want the Duergar to hear.
um cool. Well, so as you
I'll
as
I'll yell back in common then towards Arbor and go, remember, don't do any of that elf stuff.
Arbor's gonna give like the most
These
confused, like,
nice
okay.
people.
and you hear like Nella's head while Chani's still like talking to the other one, like switches back to Hutar, and in Orcish is like, Albatross, wow, you learned so many new languages in just a week's time or so. Wow, you gotta tell me your trick. I've been trying to learn more,
I heard about this owl in the city. He's really good at teaching languages.
This green owl.
His name is Duo.
um cool. It becomes evident that there is like about 6 additional Duergar in a little bit more armored capacity with like helmets and stuff that seem to be kind of like a little bit of the guards that are like coming over in a like kind of performance of like intimidation, and are like obviously there, and they like a couple of them have like what seem to be like handcuffs and other things at their sides, and some of them have like hands on their weapons that they're like almost like too cool to like have them drawn, and are just like kind of like stand there at the edge of like the kind of gangplank of stonework that kind of leads out from these like lava fields area, and you see Nella and Chani kind of like kind of turn back towards Arbor and Theo, and kind of like gesture for you guys to kind of like go down this gangplank and like go meet your like these like guard people or whatever. What do you guys do as there's like this weird language barrier going on that kind of is entirely full of social cues?
So just be clear, they are waving while looking at us to go down.
Yeah, the Etten, yeah, they're
Okay.
waving for you
I'm
two.
gonna look at Hutar, the disguised version of Hutar.
Just wide-eyed stare at him like, what do I do?
I'm gonna be like, do I
I'm
move?
gonna have been standing there with my arms crossed.
Yeah, like looking like nothing's happened.
And like sort of nod periodically uh Nell Chan's talking. Then when they gesture, I'm gonna shake my head more, and I'm gonna walk over behind both of them and sort of arm on their shoulders, sort of push them forward.
Okay, I will follow the Duergar Hutar's cues, and if he pushes me forward, I'm gonna trust, and I'm walking forwards.
Yeah.
Okay, Hutar, give me a insight check on, or actually all
Okay.
of you can on Nell Chan.
It's a 12.
17.
Pretty good.
Okay. All of you guys notice, but you think that Nell Chan is actually doing a pretty good job hiding this. But Chani, as Nell Chan's like looking forward, kind of like leading you guys down the gangplank, Chani definitely takes a distinct look back and like tries to peer through a window or two. And it's obvious they're trying to find Hutar. And just kind of then gives a wink and like goes back. um the At that, you guys find yourself kind of progressing through this. These four of the Duergar, like soldier, more militant people, like surround you, Arbor, and they like hold your wrists and um uh kind of start speak. One of them speaks to you in like not super aggressive terms, as you haven't like drawn any weapons or anything, but definitely a gruff, like deep kind of Duergar accent of Dwarvish. And they like kind of somewhat delicately, but also they're putting manacles on you, put like handcuffs on you. And then two of them kind of just like grab like underarm and underarm of you, Theo, not manacling you, but just kind of like making it very clear, just like walk with us type of thing. And
I will not.
yeah.
I will not resist. But in my mind, I'm like, wow, my mom training me to like pick locks in the case that I ever get trapped and have to break a lock on the manacles. Like, maybe this will kick in at some point. And
Theo's gonna
I don't resist. I like let them move my arms and manacle me. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what? Like this is how I got out here alive.
as soon as they put their hands on Theo, he's gonna like again just like wide-eyed stare at Hutar like uh
What's your plan here, buddy?
Can I try and as they sort of step to Arbor aggressively? Can I like sort of match their energy and sort of go with them, and then like grab him and sort of move him with me, sort of like trying to seem like I'm helping them. You
So
know?
they've obviously, it's obvious that they're like making sure that they have like a 4-on-1 to this like elven creature. Like
That's not
it
enough.
seems like that's like their priority. Are you trying to become a fifth? Are you trying
Yeah.
to like, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna keep I wanna like look like I'm helping them.
Okay.
I'm just
Can you,
keeping a hand on them.
as you do that, they they seem like they like definitely glance towards you, but um given that from their perspective you also came out of the ship, uh it doesn't, like they seem okay with you kind of like tagging along, but they don't let you like touch the you know the elf.
No, they don't want me to
The
touch
filthy
him.
elf.
Yeah.
I'll just stick with him then.
As you follow them, as they kind of progress you guys like around the like sculpture gardeny area, around the catapults and the uh kind of mine carts, like zooming different gem collections like deeper into the mountain side. give me a perception check at advantage, Hutar, as you look back at what Shawnee's doing, or Nelchan. Um,
Big
with an
8.
8, even with an 8, you can't quite make out exactly what Nelchan is gesturing, as they are a very gesture-focused kind of communicator. But because you see the backs of the two other Duergar that were in more like scholarly kind of upkit, and they've once again taken out their books and are kind of like, one of them's like scolding Nelchan, and they're kind of, and Nelchan's like pointing at the like giant, you know, boulder of a meteor that you guys have placed down there, and there's already like some kind of inspectory looking Duergar with like little like monocles and stuff, like jumping on this thing and like hacking away at it and stuff. As you see, one of the two kind of scholarly guys, like puts a piece of paper like in front of Nelchan, and like Chani like starts signing it as Nelchan is still like talking and gesturing to the other one. And there definitely seems to be like some sort of debate, but also like formality of all of this, as kind of the one that isn't holding the paper like goes up to like the kind of plated like metal plated Everdrift of the Aster Pluck, and starts like pointing at like various like broken parts and other things like that, and like talking in like a loud tone. And yeah, I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to kind of move on with these 6 kind of more militant Duergar, or are you going to where are you going to go?
Are they taking Arbor and Theo in different directions?
No, they're taking them in the same direction. There seems to be they're taking them like in between where there's like a kind of corridor like towards this kind of
I'm
it's
gonna
somewhat
go with
grand
them.
entrance to the mountainside, and like there's these trolls and like cyclopses like kind of like rolling like the remains of these like meteors like onto these catapult contraptions, and like they're rolling it over this like kind of cobblestone path, and you guys are kind of like walking down the cobblestone path as you're like waiting for them to go by, like these boulder things to go by, and then like keep on going.
How much
Yeah.
how much does Theo know about like Duergar or the society here? Like, would it be not unrealistic to believe that they're taking us to be prisoners because they don't know us? Like,
Yeah, give me a history check. And you actually, this is at advantage since you just learned about this only like a couple of days ago in pretty big detail. So
sweet.
yeah. Yeah, you remember actually like being on a kind of cruiser class uh uh DMC like vessel. And you know that like they take their meteor mining like very seriously. From your perspective, they didn't have as like big of an infrastructure as this, though. This is like definitely way more than like, you know, you you remember the scale of things being. But their whole thing is about like efficiently extracting the gems, and like their kind of name to fame is that like, hey, gems are like, you know, one of the most important resources of the void. And you know, screw whatever, you know, economy we create out of them. We need them to like create the magic and latent and all that that kind of runs, you know, the entire astral sea. And so their whole thing is about like going out to these meteors and kind of extracting them. And you know that the way they kind of organize themselves is very corporate, very business, very kind of almost like a giant Amazon type thing. um, and so you don't think that they have like, you know, they'll have it if you guys are being penalized, you'll be penalized like
with a
a
fine.
company would penalize you or something like that, you know.
We're gonna
Okay.
get
Yeah.
fired. Oh no, we're gonna get fired.
uh, but yeah, you don't. I mean, while there's definitely a show of force here, they haven't like hurt you guys or been like the way they put the like manacles on Arbor was a little bit aggressive, but like they don't seem to be like
So they're
attacking you or doing anything super aggressive. They're just kind of like having an intimidating presence as the obvious like soldier types of the company.
they're
Yeah.
racist, but maybe not nationalistic. Kind of.
Yeah, they're
Uh-huh.
corporate. We got corporate racism.
Yeah. You do know that um, the Duergar did kind of tend to, of the races that live in Bilica that you know of, they are the most like insular, one of the most
Mhm.
insular, maybe besides the Gith. It's like them and the Gith are the most insular ones. Um, and so it is even kind of interesting to you that they allow like Ettins and trolls and cyclopses and stuff to like work with them, which shows to you that in the time that has passed, like a little bit less racism, I guess, has occurred or something. Yeah. So, mhm.
Cool. Okay. In that case, Theo's gonna just trust the process.
Okay. Cool. You guys find yourselves uh kind of moving through a fairly grand door at the end of this cobblestone way that is grand in size, and has like some kind of glowing uh kind of gems around it and things. But if they weren't glowing, might be kind of relatively uh uh banal and like minimalist in the kind of a make of this mountainside. Claudio, Arbor, can you give me a either survival or perception check at disadvantage?
It doesn't really matter either way, so we're gonna do perception. They're the same, so we'll take perception here. 7.
Maybe it's just like the spur of the moment, but I mean, there's something off about this mountain. Just the way the like stonework kind of like goes up it. There's not a lot of vegetation. There's like almost negligible besides like fair like a few mosses here and there, like vegetation on this mountainside. And like instead of having like sheer cliffs and kind of jagged rocks and things, there's almost like a rhythm to the way that the kind of rocks and boulders like make up this like mountainside. And it just doesn't sit right with you as like someone who's kind of like
Nature oriented.
nature oriented. There's something weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird. Just feels
Um
jank mountain.
you got uh you find yourself, you guys kind of, the doors open as like several of the guards like open through here. You see that there are less grand entrances on other places in the mountainside where kind of resource thoroughfares are going through, but this one seems to be a little bit more of like a promenade, but it's also like obviously kind of like a back entrance, as um it doesn't seem like many people use it, but it's like a little bit pomp and circumstancy, because the next room that you go into isn't like some grand entry hall or something. It's almost like a back door, like corridor of some sort. But you guys find yourselves uh uh kind of going up like a slight slope, um and hearing just a din of like of uh of like dwarvish being thrown about and things. And as the doors shut behind you, you find yourselves smelling in kind of a dusk like dankness of dirt and things, but also like a weird kind of organic smell that has tinges of like spices and kind of uh, just a hint of like really really good food. Um, And um, as uh, as all of that comes to you guys, the door closes, and you guys realize that you're in pitch darkness as you're still moving along, and the rest of the Duergar around you don't seem to care whatsoever. How many of you guys have dark vision?
Obligatory post my dark vision in chat.
Is it
Um,
just is it just
Uh,
one of you?
I'm double checking. I forget.
I don't think half orcs do, and I don't think Gith do either.
I'm not
All
half
right.
orc. I'm an orc.
Oh, just a regular orc. I think that doesn't. I think that doesn't. It's not the human half that would have given the dark vision. So
Does the orc have dark vision? I forget.
Thought I did. Well, maybe
you
I
can
don't.
check. Maybe
What? Well, maybe I don't.
my dark vision, but we don't have Duergar
Oh
dark
no, I have
vision.
dark vision. Yeah, dark
Oh,
vision.
there we go.
I'm good.
60 feet.
Yeah.
Duergar probably have that like nice 120 superior dark vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Living
know
in
it.
darkness their whole life. But they walk through dark hallways and just chilling casually.
Yeah.
If don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
They
so
they got
sorry,
skills.
Ethan, do you have dark vision or not?
Yeah, I
You
have
just
dark
said it.
vision. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna actually put your characters on a map here for funsies.
Mm.
I promise I'm not gonna fight the Duergar. I mean,
Oh, I just realized I need to update. Uh, so on Roll20, if you before I put the character on, if I go to edit and I make it edit token properties so that the token actually says Hutar, then I can have it have. Oh, you already did it. Hutar already did it correctly, obviously. But did other people do it correctly?
Uh,
oh, the dark vision token properties? No, probably not, because I don't really use the dynamic lighting a lot.
Give me a second. Sorry. Do. Maybe talk amongst. Are you guys? Maybe you like whisper to each other in common or something.
In common, I'm gonna whisper to Hutar at this point, and
yeah.
I'm gonna be like, I hope I'm just gonna say kind of like to the void almost, but it's gonna be obvious like who is this directed to. I'm gonna be like, I hope you got a plan. As I'm just walking around like manacled, surrounded by 5 dudes, one of which is I know is Hutar, but I'm like, uh,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's gonna. I feel like I'm kind of getting targeted here.
Yeah.
Mm,
Uh, yeah. Theo's just gonna go.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
In Hutar we
Theo
trust.
Theo trips. Oh.
Just- there's in fact they purposely put little objects for people to trip over. So that when they walk, people without superior dark vision in the area, they trip over shit.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
really just to
you
piss off
do
like the
find it.
Ents or whatever.
You do find it a little bit. You're almost sad, Theo, that you're not like handcuffed up because you like were able to follow the two guys that are kind of like bodyguarding you, but like they're not
Mhm.
actually touching you. So now you're like a little bit like lost, and you do end up like bumping, like brushing into one of them, and they like there's like a little bit of a weird scuffle as you're able to see Arbor is able to see like the kind of social faux pas occur, and it's a little funny.
Yeah,
when
Uh,
I'm gonna like quiet when that happens. I'm gonna quietly say sorry in common.
yeah,
Did, does it seem like any of them speak common? I might say like
you would know that when you had your little lecture from the
mm-hmm.
Duergar or whatever, there was a translator. Um,
Okay.
so even like on that lecture on the kind of the ship that you were on, um,
Yeah.
there was a translator. So
Okay. Unlikely fate.
um okay, I think this might work. Hopefully it looks cool. Y'all zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm zooming out.
Ooh,
Oh.
Okay. So we're at the bottom, presumably, I'm imagining.
in bottom right, yeah. Um
Okay, but we're not on the map right now, right?
uh it should
I don't
be.
see myself at least. I think.
Uh-oh.
We're down there.
Oh, we are. Oh, we're way. Oh, sorry. I was zoomed. I was not zoomed out as far as I
I
thought.
was looking at the same place. Yeah.
No, I was zoomed out to the top half, not the very bottom half.
A.
Yeah, so they start kind of just taking you guys through, like you guys kind of go up this ramp and like start find yourself within this like this city of sorts. Yeah. The um like for you, Theo, all you can see by is like some of the more distinct buildings have like a faint kind of gem on the top of them that is like glowing a little bit. And so you can kind of make those out. And as you guys like crest towards the T intersection up um above like kind of it farther into the cave, Thea, you can make out way across like what seems to be a giant kind of cavernous belly of a space. These two like towering buildings that don't go that tall, but have like a crackling crystal on like the top of each of them that seems very distinct. And then like um, what seems to be definitely a more ornamental area further in on the other side of this kind of chasm that has like what looks to be like a ceremonial forge, a statue of like that's like I don't know, maybe 60 feet tall or something like that. And these kind of two um, doors that are similar in size to the one that you came through, but definitely much grander. Um, and uh, Theo, uh, you see as we kind of like crest up here, while the others I'm going to describe what they see like near and around them. You're like focused on the pinpricks of light that you can see. And as we kind of crest up to this T intersection on the far side, it's like way over here. If I can force you guys to be there. Let's see. Does this work?
Just drag a whole group of us.
No, I should be able to. How do you do the like focused ping? Do you remember that?
Oh, what do you mean?
No,
Not
I
just
don't know.
Oh my gosh. I
I don't
used to
have
know how to do that.
I th- you're. I'm guessing the T is the thing at the top of the map. Is that what you mean?
Oh, where you like where you draw people
Wait, I almost
to the
had it.
point
I
that you're
almost had
paying?
it. I almost had it. Come on. There we go.
Hmm.
Focus ping.
Not
Oh, here we
seeing
go.
it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
worked.
Right in here. On like the super far edge over there, you see Theo, the like a door kind of cracks and you can't see the door itself, but it's because it seems like it's around like a corner weirdly, but like a shed, like a kind of almost a knife blade of like light like comes through as like a door cracks open on this far other side of the cavern. And you see like the shadows of like a couple figures that are like super small in comparison to this knife blade of light like walk in. I mean, it seems like there's more there's like occasional opening of those doors um on the super far side there. um cool. uh as you guys the rest of you guys kind of progress up this uh T intersection. Um Theo, can you give me like a performance check at disadvantage just to see like or a dexterity saving throw, your choice, to see how
I
well
can.
you're doing. Like
Dexterity.
Yeah.
There it is.
Uh, Sorry. There's an issue with my character sheet. It just won't stop loading. Oh, here we go. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
At disadvantage?
Mhm.
Like it could have been good.
Coulda, you
Okay,
know.
you definitely stumble and hit your face, like as you stumble into like a stall actually of like someone someone's like little uh Everdrift, or actually it's like weirdly Everdrift column, that they
Mhm.
seem to be like selling like some sort of wood utensils or something. Um and uh and the like guys next to you kind of like take you under each arm and just start dragging you with your like feet dragging behind.
I
Like
say like
yeah.
I start trying to like apologize, and then when they grab, I'm like, oh, sorry, sorry, and then they grab me. I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Um, Seeing that you can't like see in the dark or whatever, they actually take you like to the edge of this ledge. And you hear behind you, um, uh, like they call out to somebody, um, and you hear beside behind you, there's like this kind of purple awning, um, that kind of comes out, and there's a little bit of seating there, and it seems like there's some sort of um, uh, like place to get rations and uh uh also like drink bub and stuff. Um uh like just kind of a little nice corner spot over here. And they like hail over um to somebody. Um and uh you see, give me a perception check at disadvantage through the darkness here.
Right. Uh,
I assume, uh by the way,
oh,
Hutar, that you're following as well.
Yeah,
once
yeah.
again, could have been great.
I'm assuming they're keeping pace with each other.
Yeah. Hmm. Um, cool. Ding, 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 ding. Uh, cool. So there's like a little covered uh kind of area over here that like looks out upon the grandeur of like the architecture of this place. Underneath this like purple, this brown kind of stonework of a almost gazebo-y type thing that's kind of nice there. Um, and you see that the six guards people kind of like uh, shoo away some of the people that are like sitting kind of on the edge of like the little elevated portion of the stonework and like seem to be chatting and uh, things, and they shoo away some of the Duergar kind of children, and sit you guys down in some chairs that they like crank over, and kind of sit you near this railing, and they start like kind of saying stuff in dwarvish, and they holler over to like one of the people in uh, from this kind of taverny area that you saw, um, uh, Theo, and coming out from the tavern is a Duergar that's dressed a little bit differently from the rest. Um, that seems to kind of, with your 10 on perception, you get the sense, and Arbor, you see this perfectly clearly, that Malram, sorry, this Duergar, who distinctly was called like Malram is the dwarvish word that they say to like hail them over. Um, uh, is kind of just like sitting alone at a little bench and like has a little drink in hand, um, and uh, like gets called over. And you see they like converse in dwarvish a little bit, and then like begrudgingly, this dwarf kind of like stands up and like dusts off their like relatively well kept like clothes that look more like wizardly in nature. And Theo, give me a as they kind of step closer to you. Um, give me a perception check, just like normal,
All right.
and then a history check, normal. So
Nice. Redeemed.
okay, with a
Hey.
24, you're able to just like focus your attention on this guy through the darkness. And with a 16, you notice that he's in Progress Tower garb, seemingly a student there,
Oh,
which um was an institution that uh you know about. Um, you know that like its edifice is part of what creates the like Shadowlands, where you have some connections. Um, but um, you don't know much about it, but you know that the people usually you don't really see wizards from the Progress Tower kind of out and about. And um, but you know what their garb looks like. And you instantly, a few seconds later, get the reason why they kind of brought him over to you as this wizard like casts a pretty decent like spell, and several of the like Duergar children nearby kind of like scatter a little bit, and like some of the older Duergar who seem to be like manning or like at one of the carts nearby, like kind of like put up a hand and kind of like waddle away as like some shopkeepers are like get annoyed. But this kind of decent light spell of some flavor gets cast kind of near-ish to the gazebo area. So let me put that down on the map for you.
nice.
Let's see if that worked.
I say thank you.
Is there just like
Did
a
that?
beam? Is there like a beam of light or like something is being illuminated, or is like Theo like glowing or something? Like
They kind of just cast it on this like cornice that's like put into the stonework of the gazebo. There seems to be like a little hammer that like comes out of like the corner of the architecture in a very stylized way. They just kind of this wizardly fellow kind of like glows it up. Are you able to see a little bit more now?
yeah, we can see more. I mean, I can at
Okay.
least.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, as this kind of glow appears, you guys finally take in the hustle and bustle of like what's happening around here. As you see below you, there's like several kind of different layers of the city that kind of like fill this like almost like inside of like a blimp shaped kind of space. And uh below you is like more kind of stalls of like seemingly like contraptions and things. There's like a bridge across towards like the northern part of the map. Um and that leads to like some sort of courtyardy looking space that then has like this kind of grand stairway up between these two towers that have this like light emanating from the top of them towards this kind of tall statue of dwarven make in front of uh, this kind of anvil. But then below that tier of the kind of tinkerer's shop looking places that you're kind of looking down at, um, where the map shows kind of this grayness, um, uh, is actually um, like there's clinks and clatters of what you can now make out as like the faint glow of crystals being kind of like moved through a like factory line um, on like the bottom floor of this. And you hear like distant rail carts kind of moving and mine carts moving through, and like the kind of adamantine picks like hitting against breaking into like gems down into kind of more manageable parts and things like that. And you kind of take all of this in as there's like it's definitely this atmospheric quality of not being able to kind of see the full nature of the city and these kind of shadowy gray Duergar creatures kind of flitting in and out of view and between shoplets and in this kind of stepped civilization um, that's kind of centered around this like factory line on the bottom floor that you're kind of high enough up that you can only just barely see. And you do uh uh Hutar, can you give me a perception check uh at advantage?
Uh,
As you were looking earlier for people that
7.
weren't like Duergar. With a 7, you definitely see that like here in the city center, there's a lot more Duergar, obviously. But with a 7, you catch like one person that is a little bit, I mean, much taller in stature and looks to you like a Shatterkai, which maybe you've heard of, like uh, from a distant, you know, some tale from some compatriot of yours in the past. But that kind of hints at you that there's probably a couple other creatures that are kind of here and there. But
Okay.
the they don't seem as like, you know, uh kind of there's they seem more aware of their surroundings than like the Duergar children that are just kind of running around like, you know, like having fun and stuff like that. Um yeah. This
I
wizard this yeah, what do you guys start getting up to?
um
I don't get up to anything. Okay, I'm even nice. I'm a good boy.
They
I think so. I already said thanks to the wizard. Did it seem like the common registered at all? Does he speak common?
I was just about to get to that. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh
sorry.
so Yuri says, ah, well, I I I guess you're welcome. Uh sorry, I just it's a bit annoying being brought on always to be the translator. You think more people could consider learning common around here?
Yeah, that's fair. I get it. I'm glad. Well, I'm grateful. I'm glad to have someone to help us communicate. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. I'm not sure where we're being taken or why.
Well, I gotta be honest, uh, I don't really care about your life story. Um,
Fair.
but I guess since I'm supposed they expect me to act cordially to you guys, I can feign to care. So spit it out.
Spit what out?
I don't know. What are you? You guys seem like you're adventurers, right? You got the Bank of Eons band over there. Wow, that looks beat up as hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bank of Eons. That's what I meant. I've been drinking a little bit. Just
Yeah. No,
fair
it's
warning.
okay. As I'm starting to talk, I look over to Hutar like, should I be talking? Like, can I keep going?
I'll I'll sort of look back, but I'll nod.
Um, well, long story short, we found the ship uh caught in a web out in space, and so we brought it back to Bilica. We brought it to the company, and I'd like to just go. I mean, what we weren't. I wasn't the one who rented the ship. I just helped bring it back. Uh,
Wow,
so
it seems like there's a whole story there.
yeah, you don't have to. I'll spare you the details though.
Well, uh, yeah, you see this. Give me like an insight check on this guy.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, yeah, normal.
it's honestly hard to tell. He seems a little bit intoxicated, uh seems like he's a little bit more talkative due to that, but then it also seems a little edgy and like slightly emo, but then
Mhm.
also saying that he's like annoyed at being the translator is also speaking to you in like perfect common, and
Yeah.
uh also like seems to be like body language wise more like open now that he's speaking common instead of like huddled in the corner like um
Okay.
it's kind of hard to tell this guy. um
Yeah.
but he kind of takes like a thing out of from his pocket, and you see it's like a little bone of something something, and he just like uh sticks it um kind of into his teeth, which is odd because he obviously wasn't eating, because eating is like a rare affair to do during a day. um he just probably just likes the feeling of bone on
Yeah.
his teeth or something. um and
Relatable.
then uh he just kind of continues and is like, well, we get a fair adventure or two coming through, but
Mhm.
you know the Duergar Mining Company kind of has its own way of working through things. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, but you know, stealing a Duergar mining vessel has its repercussions.
I mean,
I'm sure
we
it'll
didn't
work
really.
itself out.
I don't really think we stole it because we found it ruined and stuck in space, and we brought it back to you guys. I don't understand what
Mm.
we did wrong here.
I don't- I mean, let me be frank here. I uh I don't have much the way the Duergar Mining Company does things uh is by the book, and let's just say that I feel their book pales in comparison to mine. And he like pulled out his like spell book and is like, uh
Okay.
I'm a translator, but uh, uh when I feel like I want to follow their rules, but in truth, I'm just uh I'm just here taking a little leave from the progress tower, uh clear my mind from some things that have happened recently. uh
Well,
yeah.
I think I'm a student of the monks of meaning, so I get for the pursuit of knowledge is important. I think we might be able to connect on that, but you seem to not really care about my life story, so I won't dive into it. But if you do want to talk about like history and philosophy and stuff, I'm down. But really, I just want to make sure that they are aware that we brought the ship immediately to them. We had no intentions of stealing it, and that I would like to just go.
Well, monks in meeting, huh? It's a
Yeah.
weird getup you got there. A little old fashioned, don't you think?
Um, if you had to
I
guess how old fashioned it was, how how old would you guess?
I don't know. Like, I guess I know a kid, Haybuck, was it? I was forced to do a project with him, but he might know.
A
But
kid who?
your get up doesn't really seem to match the times. And it's tattered to pieces, man. There must be a story there.
Yeah, well,
Again,
I
I
was
don't care much for the
yeah,
stories,
okay.
but go on. It's like weirdly like
He was so confused because like
He's
his
like
priority
on
right now is
hold.
just to leave, but he's and
um
it seems like this guy wants to hear a story but also doesn't, and so
And he's like, wow, this seems really interesting. I'm very involved, but I don't care. So anyway, here's this other thing. Wow, there seems like there's a whole story there that you could talk about for hours. That's so interesting. If I cared.
Well,
Arbor,
how about this? Long story short. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
as this conversation's
I
going
think
on,
Arbor like wants to try to say something as this conversation is happening, and he's clearly like listening in intently. But I think he's also just kind of afraid because of the disparate reaction that the dwarves seem to have had with him. I think he's just trying to play a good boy, and he's just nodding along to like, especially like the ship parts. He's just like kind of nodding, but he's just gonna be quiet for now. I'll butt in if Arbor
so
wants to
they
say
sit you
something.
down, Arbor, in a chair, and they transfer your manacles to like being like manacled to the chair. Um, and Hutar, you're still like milling about, kind of like blending in with like the passersby and stuff. Um, but this wizardly guy, like, kind of is allowed to like break in, and basically the wizardly guy who's kind of talking, and Theo and Arbor, you guys are like kind of like out on this like overlook. Um, and I just realized that this guy is in the wrong token, so you can't. Okay, here, let me put him.
Oh,
Um, the three of you guys are kind of like
man.
overlooking this together, as like these six guards are um uh kind of just like being on watch, but a little less like close now, just kind of penning you guys in, so that the only other way to escape is like falling off the edge of the of the thing. um yeah.
Um, he was gonna say, "Are you gonna translate, or can you tell them what I said, or do you? I mean, I'm happy to tell you my story if you want to hear that first. I can give you the short rundown. Um,
Oh yeah, I guess they probably want me to tell you what I'm talking about. What do you want me to tell them?
yeah, I mean, I could you just tell them I was trapped in some astral drift, and then we, well, I forget how I ran into, well, anyhow, we were all kind of just stranded in space. We saw the ruined ship. We thought, hey, this is abandoned and ruined. We should bring it back to Bilica. So we did that. Not without damage. There was a large spider that I think it had already damaged it pretty significantly. Um, and we took it straight back here, to the mining company, uh, to whom it belongs, obviously. Um, and we would like to leave now, please.
Arbor like nods like very vigorously into
You
this.
see, you spend like a whole like 3 paragraphs like explaining yourself, and
Yeah.
this guy just like turns over to one of the Duergar guards and just says like 3 words in Dwarvish, and like turns back and is like, uh, "Cool story, dude. If I cared about the happenings of adventures, I'd be quite intrigued. But definitely a story there. Uh, seems like, you know, if I cared, I would want to know what quest you guys were on while you got stuck out there. Uh, but um,
At this point, Theo's gonna like look to Arbor like, what do I do with this guy?
Arbor like look back like just like looking at his manacles and like looking at the dwarves who are probably still like looking very suspiciously at Arbor, right? Like I feel like there's probably still a lot of eyes on him, so he's just kind of gonna like
yeah,
look around and be like, just give him like a I don't know kind of look. Like
if I
well,
if I
well,
cared even
clearly you don't
more,
want to hear this. I'm sorry, what?
then keep going.
Well, clearly you don't want to hear the story. So could you just tell them we returned the ship that was destroyed before we found it, and we'd like to go home?
uh, yeah. So obviously you're not from around, the DMC. Uh, it seems you guys have been put on retainer here, and these guys have orders, and I'm I'm a citizen. You know, they know me. I can translate and talk, but I don't really have any power.
you
I'm
mean?
technically
What do you mean we've
a
been put on
consultant
retainer here?
to the company at this point, and so I could I can talk, but at the end of the day, my you know
I'm
my
not
voice
asking you to make any
doesn't matter.
decisions. I'm asking you to tell the people who are making decisions, who are right here, right? Are they not?
Mhm.
Who?
He
Who's
takes like
who?
another swig of his little flask and like puts it in his little bag again. And it's like, and then he's like, well, I could do that, uh, but I really don't care about this, story, especially why
Here's the thing.
you'd be
If
hanging
you don't
out
care,
with
if
a
you really don't
wood
care,
elf
then
of
you
all.
want to be done with us, right? You want to be done with us? Then get us out of here. Tell them what I'm telling you, and we'll leave. And you don't have to deal with it. You can go back to
Mhm.
drinking.
I'm I'm just so disinterested with all the details of who you are and totally not curious whatsoever.
Theo is just taking this at face value.
um okay. uh he like goes over and kind of walks towards Arbor's chair and is like, and why what's up with the elf here?
I'm not gonna do anything, I promise. I'm gonna behave. Arbor looks like clearly nervous. I,
And
I don't know. I just popped into this world, and then the spider thing that he mentioned, all that story. I'm not even from here. I don't even know Bilica DMC. I don't even know.
you see his eyes kind of gloss over with like a weird, like uncharacteristic, like kind of spice to them. And he like in a quick motion like gnarls his teeth and like does a little at you and like does an intimidation check. uh and gets a nat 20. I just rolled a nat 20 on the
Okay,
die.
I'm like scared shitless. Like, oh my god, no, please.
And then he like once you start doing that, he like breaks and just starts laughing. It's like
Also, Zach, just FYI,
yeah,
I've
you have
got
to
10
leave.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't get why
Um
you guys hate elves so much.
cool. Uh he's like, yeah, it is definitely a problem how discriminatory the DMC is. They can barely tell the difference between elves, but you still could be a light bringer, and it's within reason, given that so many Duergar are assassinated out there just for being who they are. That they would be a
What
little bit trepidatious of you.
what
But
I don't even know
as he kind of
what
like
you're just
puts a
talking
little
about.
as he like puts a little bit of necromantic like energy into like a black kind of like orb in his hand, he like says, but I'm not afraid of some wood elf adventurer. uh uh can I ask, and he kind of like gives a little nod over behind his shoulder. It's like, what's up with the orc? And uh just kind of like it's like, there must be a super unimportant, not cool at all story, right?
Uh,
Uh,
our person will like go like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no orc.
are you
Oh,
listening in on this at all, Hutar? Uh,
Definitely. Am I hearing this part?
yeah, I mean, he doesn't really care because he knows like no one can understand what you guys are talking about. So, um, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend like there is no. I don't know. There's no orc. It just me and this little boy.
Hmm. Well, let's just say I TA classes at the progress tower. So I know a few things about apprentice level spells.
Well,
And
well, I don't even know what a progress tower is.
just you're a curious one. Such a wizard-looking adventurer feigning ignorance is just you don't see a lot of people
Well,
who are willing to scrape their ego off like that.
the elf here just came through, like from a
I'm
different
gonna
world.
narrow
Please,
my eyes and call out to this guy. I'll call out in common and go, hey, you should just get these guys out of here. They're stinking up the place. Just send them back into the city.
You see him like visibly like twitch around and uh
Arbor's
like
shoulders
caught
like
a little off
relax
guard by
as
like
Hutar finally fucking does something. He's gonna be like, oh, thank God.
you see him kind of like pin pinprick pinprick you like he like looks to like several Duergar faces and is like um obviously like surprised and almost like wait is my ruse up like do did they hear what like all of the nonsense that we're talking about but then sees that it's you Hutar and kind of like walks over to you um and
I stand up tall, cross my arms.
and you see him give you like a wink and then like put his hand over your shoulder and like give you a little like noggin rub like this and kind of like socially like bring you into the circle and like a couple of the guards like nearby like give you a little bit of like questioning look but
I give him
you're like
I sort of puff I sort of give him a nod. I'm like, yeah, what's up? I just walk in.
At this Arbor you kind of look back around your shoulder to like hear what's happening here and your elven eyes do see kind of a lumbering figure coming down from where like the road that you guys came down
Yeah.
like a large lumbering figure with two heads and
Hope, hope rises.
as or actually not from the way that you came but from like to the
Me.
left yeah to make the size correct come on
Please.
okay cool but as you guys all chat it's like so what's your deal orc don't see many of you guys around here and a spellcaster at that
Yes, I know a few apprentice level spells. I'm gonna sort of sit down, lean back, and go, as I'm sure you don't care. Doesn't seem that you don't. We're just.
Yeah. He's kind of like, well, are you an etch then? Or
No. Bark.
Fitting.
Fitting.
Bro, the racism is strong.
Well,
Or
okay.
Why not just throw them out? Put them in the city. You don't need this hullabaloo around them. You have your ship. Just.
Well, you guys have amused me enough that I'm willing to finally do my job here as social translator. What exactly is it that brought you here?
Theo,
Anyways, again, it's you stole a ship or something, and then
We saved your ship. We brought it back. It's fine. You wouldn't have
Well,
gotten it back anyway.
Arbor's gonna go like.
As you get super heated and start speaking in common, you see Nelchan like walk up.
Mm.
Oh,
Like some of the Duergar around like give them like a wide berth, and others kind of like definitely a little scared of them. And some of the shopkeeps like kind of like you know uh are a little bit more protective as Nelchan passes, but they do kind of let them through. And Chani kind of like calls out and it's like in Orcish again is like albatross, albatross. Uh, uh man, I need to learn what your language techniques are all about. uh and you see this wizard guy who still don't have the name of is uh kind of quite intrigued by uh this and is like, huh, you guys befriended Nelchan, huh? They're an interesting
Yeah.
character. I
Saved
see.
them from the mob-hungry asteroid spider.
I'm putting the pieces together. But yeah, rumors travel fast here, and seeing such a decrepit Asterpluck come through definitely hits the rumor mill pretty quick. Uh, just wanted to do my due diligence and hear exactly what this, totally not interesting story is all about.
What exactly is your due diligence? I'm not 100% sure.
Arbor's like almost breaking down. He's like, "Can we go home? I don't even have a home."
This wizard has made Theo so angry. I don't know what to do with this guy.
Arbor's experienced racism for the first time. He's like, I'm not even really sure what's going on, but he understands that there's a difference between how he's being treated and everyone else.
Nella and uh Chani starts like looking at Arbor and Theo, and kind of like talks in Orcish like really slow, as if like trying to like communicate to someone who doesn't speak the same language, but like you know, and and they're like, so we're I'm in bit of trouble. Um, let's just say that my spell jamming license for the DMC has been revoked, which I spent a very long time getting, and now I'll need to continue to do the menial labor discriminated upon me and my race to potentially get that back. But at least I'm not dead, and that's thanks to you guys. I managed to pay off the rest of the debt for the original rental of the vehicle with the gems we acquired. So that's good. And let's just, I hope that I can work to get my license back and that the knowledge of where these gem rich asteroid belt is can potentially bring me back into good graces with the company. So if you understand what I'm saying,
He was
my
just been
debt,
smiling and
my
nodding.
debt, my debt to you guys, is paid, and thank you for saving my life. And I have managed to potentially save yours. There will be a crew of uh other guards coming soon to take you guys to the test time. So
He is gonna whisper to Hutar, "Can we go now? Are we okay? What's happening?"
I think that's
and as you see
being figured
Nelchen
out.
Like starting talking for so long, you see like some of the more militant guards like kind of like walk up to them and like kind of body block them out and start like speaking in dwarvish like, hey, get away from you know the guard people. And Nelchan just kind of like looks back at you guys and just says Hutar, and kind of like points back towards the ship, and then kind of like gives a little thumbs up. And you see they're definitely a little more animated than they were before, back in their element. And just kind of leaves. And it's a little sad, just seeing like, from what you can tell, Hutar, all of their, like, they worked hard to kind of find a place on a ship, and now they've been like demoted back down to like the low rank that you know
No,
they've
this
yeah.
is some joke of an organization you guys are running here. Hmm.
Are you saying that in common?
Yeah, I'm saying in common.
Hey, I am very much happy to be only a consultant to this organization now. Good thing there's research pathways to the progress tower.
Why don't you research a pathway for us out of here? Our buddy here said they got us out. Let's get us out.
No, all things
Dealt
happen
with.
in time.
Yeah, and I'm looking to
You
see this
guys-
happen in
you guys-
this time.
You guys are a cast of curious characters. Can I
Are
ask?
we?
Zach, I hate to
Yeah,
interrupt,
you
but
have to go. That's
I
fine.
do really need to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for running the session. This was very fun.
Yeah.
And I'll see you all soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
As Theo kind of like has already told some of his story, his wizard, who you still don't have the name of, like goes over to you, Hutar, and also just speaks directly to Arbor, and it's like, so what quest did you guys go on to get you all the way out, stuck in the middle of nowhere? It's always fun hearing ridiculous stories like that.
Mhm. Well, Arbor, would you like to tell it, or shall I?
Armor's just like still nervous. Like, yeah, I don't. You're good at the talking.
Well, you see, there we were, edge of a rust anomaly, being chased, hunted down by the clown pirates of the Outer Rim.
Clown pirates. Armor's like confused by this story already.
I see.
I'm gonna lean in closer. And go. When a rift opened up, sending this elf here from a far off realm.
That's what I've been saying. I don't even know what any of this is. I'm not from here.
But I was there, grabbed both of these guys, and took them into the safety of a nearby cluster of asteroids. Where we discovered your ship.
Not mine, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Your ship.
I'm liking your gravitas. I can see why people would follow you.
Yes.
I don't care about the story, but keep going.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. So anyway, this cluster of asteroids connected by a dense web of asteroid silk darting between the darkness of the void. We pushed through and discovered this ship lying in its wake. Tangled up, lost and forgotten. Who knows how long it'd been there? And no, the knows that it would never get back on its own. Lost, totally gone. Their story written and finished.
Oh, tell him about the spider. The spider.
Yes, but then, as
Because
we
he went and he
approach,
ran towards the spider. I don't know
turning,
what the fuck he was thinking.
yeah. So anyway, tearing the ship free from the silk, emerging through the darkness was this great behemoth of an asteroid spider. Naturally, I charged at it, my own, creating space for my crew here, freeing your Etten friend there, and bought them just enough time to get the shambles of your ship up and running to coast out from the bank just out of the clutches of the maw of this young behemoth of an asteroid spider, riding along the coasting with the blanket back here.
Well, give me a kind of performance or persuasion check advantage.
Ooh, performance. 17.
Well, that was very uninteresting story and not at all exciting or noteworthy. Not at all like, my favorite stories coming out of the little theory these days. But yeah. I'm taking pity on you. I it's not at all because to gratify or you know give a gratuity of sorts for the story. But necromancer like myself, I don't have much to give, but to support your adventuring efforts, here you go. And he gives you like a potion out of his like little
Ooh, a potion.
Ooh, okay. Arbor's gonna perk up when he says the word necromancer and say, "Wait, you're a necromancer? Can you bring my mother back?"
I don't deal with that kind of things. You're gonna need a priest, probably from the Canal of Faiths, but or just go to the adventuring hall and figure out there, right? You guys have tons of money over there, right?
You mean
Yeah.
like gold? You mean like gold pieces?
Oh, I guess you guys might actually have gold from the your adventures out with those meteors and things. But man, if you if you had like actual gold pieces on you, I would well, I guess for an adventure, but I don't know. Well, if you want to they do have a good exchange rate somewhere around here. But yeah. It looks like they're coming for you though.
Arbor's gonna notice that there's more Duergar guards, and he's like almost flustered, but then he realizes like, okay, no, this is the good kind. These are some of they're one of the good ones.
Uh, Ethan, put in your inventory uh 3 potions of radiant resistance. Um, as he's kind of just like handed them. He just seems to have a lot of them. And just handed them out to uh for
Cool.
all 3 of you guys. Yeah. Um. Cool. Uh. With that, the guards kind of change. They take you out of your chair there. And one of the guards talks to this guy saying Malrum again, as the way that they kind of talk to them in Dwarvish. Um, and uh, uh, one of the other guards kind of like shoulders you Hutar like out of the way, like a little annoyed that you're like getting involved in militant business. And they start taking 6 of you towards the Testine as Malrum just like keeps like walking, and is like, well, you've told your story, and uh, you know, I guess I don't like it at all, but I guess I should tell the story of, and it's not very often we get, adventures around here and things. Um, why don't I give you a little tour as we make our way to uh the Testine teleporter here.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's not like we would care much,
are
but
you
you
are
know,
you
go
are
go ahead
you
and
like
tell it anyway.
are you talking? Oh, sorry, I switched you and Theo's character, didn't I? You were kind of like body blocked out of the way. Are you like walking along as a citizen with him,
Yeah,
or
I'm walking along.
okay? Give me like a performance check, just
Okay.
or deception, whichever you want.
Oh, I think it's
Performance is fun.
Okay, with like a 16, uh, people don't really tend to mind you much. Um, cool. He kind of like it kind of says, yeah, uh, a lot of times, when they feed the stone parts of the meteors to the uh with those catapult things outside. I'm honestly forgetting the name of them. It's been a while for me. I've only come back here just for a day or so. Um, but when when they feed it to the ossiflesion, it's able to pump out little flecks of all the metal and stuff, and that's how we make our gold coins that some magic users like to use in their spells and all. Um, but yeah, we also take in, if someone's able to fleece gold this or that, or uh off people. There's good merchants and traders down there uh, for that kind of thing. And as you can see over here, we've got kind of your standard ration market and some spice stalls, and up that way, we're gonna go over towards the teleporter, but up that way you can go towards the company board of directors room, and that's probably where your where Nell Chan went. Sad about that guy. Uh, I always thought of him as a kindred soul, though we didn't really talk much to each other. I like to observe, let's just say. Uh, and um, yeah, and we've got our 2 different pads over here. I mean, probably nothing for you guys adventurers, but can be a little bit jarring. Getting teleported up to the Testine. Um, just make sure to hold your breath like, normal. Um, and oh my God,
Arbor, you look
screen's
concerned, like
glitching out.
teleported. What the hell is about to happen?
I'm glitching out so hard. I'm just gonna make everybody a big group.
Too many
Easiest.
assets.
Will it load? Will it load? But yeah, do you guys say anything as he kind of pauses every once in a while between like describing stuff? Um, and it's like, hey, you guys aren't from the are you guys all from the source pack, by the way? How do you guys respond to
Probably
that?
would not remember what the source pact is. I think technically, oh, actually, I think Arbor didn't even hear it on the Litheric network. So actually, Arbor's just
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, another one of those things I don't even know.
No.
It's just curious. Only one of you guys has the band Beyonds on.
It's not
I
I'm
just
even.
telling you, I'm literally not from here. I don't mean the DMC. I mean, I don't. I'm not from anywhere near this world. Like
mm.
like he said, I popped in here.
You from the Rock a Brawl, or you
I don't even know what
actually
that is.
secretly from the you know uh Lightbringers, or the what about the GIF Armada? Any of those?
We're just
No.
adventurers.
He seems like a little eager to like meet someone who meets those criteria.
I'm from a nice little forest outside of Vergardia.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't even know. Before like a couple days ago, I've never even
Uh,
been like next to a city or met people or been into the void or whatever.
Curious for an elf to be from the urban gardens, but hey, you guys seem like an interesting lot.
No, there's no
Sorry,
urban
I
where
meant
I'm from.
uninteresting.
There's no urban where I'm at. There's no. I stay away from the
He
urban things.
loves trees.
I do. I do. I miss. Do you have some trees in here?
Sorry. Go to the other side of Bilica for that, I guess. Well, here we are. Uh,
Mission acquired. Find
I would,
trees.
I would, I would take you out while you can. The company, you know,
Hey,
is
we
pretty
have to
insular.
seduce a tree.
Hey,
Well,
but
Theo has to
the
do it.
name's Malrum. Thanks for shedding a little light on what's been a little bit of a, let's just say, grumpy day for me. I'm working through some things, and if you ever come to the Progress Tower, or anything, just you know, and then just leave.
Do they hate elves at the Progress Tower too?
What?
Do they hate elves at the Progress Tower too?
Uh,
Because I'm gonna be real, it wasn't really
he's like
nice coming here.
he's like actually actually I just had a little project with an elf just recently. Astro elf at that. Yeah,
Astral elf.
maybe it is about time I get back there. And and then he then like walks away, like very like non-committal, but also like sort of made a friendship. I don't know. Just a little bit aloof and slightly like walking funny, as
A lot
he's
of
obviously a little intoxicated. Um, cool. You guys are like pushed into this like room where there is like this these interesting like gem resonance to the ground. Like there's the way the wall like connects to the floor has like these cornices of like just kind of gems just spittered about in a little bit of a haphazard um way. But then as those gems like meet the floor, they become like more modular, and until they're like perfectly ordered into like a 15 by 15 feet like uh circle of sorts on the ground, um that is much that is like almost like cobblestone but out of gems. um and uh cool, the guards seem to be kind of like pushing you two to like go on there.
I'm gonna hold my breath before I step on.
Okay, you hold your breath and step on, and so does uh Theo right after. Um Hutar, are you gonna kind of like
Can I get in there? Are they
Uh,
stopping?
Just
once,
run up
once,
in there.
once the two of them leave, the like guards kind of like relax and like visibly relax and go back to just like
I'm just
start
gonna
heading
once
back
they
towards
relax, I'm just gonna confidently walk by them.
Okay, and then you're gonna go as well.
Yeah. I'll
You guys
hold
all
my
feel
breath.
this like jolt happen as you guys just kind of think about like the like inherent arcane um kind of nature to the room as you just like focus on it a little bit. And you find yourselves like teleported to a floating kind of um uh like rune uh like on dangling on a chain like against that's like connected to the top of like uh something on a mountain below. And you're at zero momentum drifting in the void, and just above you is this kind of organic uh like uh almost like cylindrical kind of uh meandering tube um that like changes in diameter in different areas, but this one that you're in is about like 40 feet wide by 40 feet wide. um and there's a huge like severed cut in it that organically opens. And you see there's also another gem nearby that's like the other seems to be linked to the other tower, where people where like you see a Duergar kind of like in a or actually you see a fairy in a um radiant vest of sorts, kind of like
A
zoom
bear.
through an opening in it, and like kind of get teleported through this like gem thing. Whereas from behind you, Hutar like appears, um, and you guys like float up the like 10 feet to like get into the test time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just,
it's
As you do so, we'll end the session.
I follow after.
We'll
Not
we'll
really
end the
knows where to
session
go.
as you guys are kind of like entering the test time here. Um, as you guys see that like to the counter side of you on the big map here. If we go to the big map now, boom, boom, boom. You guys are just above where you kind of were before, floating up effectively in kind of like right here on near this like red kind of sausagey looking thing that's around the ring of uh kind of the center of the torus in like a cylindrical dimension. And as you stay there, we're going to end the session as you guys hear in common above. I'm just like, uh, this is the last, like, almost like a train conductor voice of like, uh, yet again, as you hear, like a kind of some individual like zoom through the test line above and like hit kind of some sort of force magic wall or something like that, and a train conductor voice be like, yet again, this is the last stop on the test line due to recent terrorist events. Uh,
oh
and
boy.
we will stop the
I'm not a
session
terrorist.
there. Uh, cool. We can end the recording now. Thank you.
Okay.